It's Mandy Kay here from Soul Strategies, and welcome to today's mini career class. Today, I'm going to answer the question exactly where do you start when you have no idea what you're meant to do? So, I'm talking here from both personal experience and having been a career coach for almost 7 years now. So, at a particular turning point in my own career transition, I had had a volunteering stint from overseas. I'd been working for Couchsurfing International, and it came to an abrupt end. And look, I feel like it was a bit of divine intervention on that one. I really wasn't enjoying what I was doing for my actual job. I was doing member communications, and I was not invited to continue on with the crew when they were moving from Alaska to California. But it kind of spat me out, going, well, what is it that I'm meant to be doing? And I wanted to feel like I was on purpose. I heard about this thing called divine purpose, and I really wanted it. And but I had no idea what that looked like, what I was meant to be doing, because I'd had this, career up until that point, doing largely management, communication work, and I didn't know what else to do. So I came home and I felt really confused and lost and directionless, because I didn't know what else to do. And anytime I would look into, what I could do work-wise, I kept falling back into looking at the things that I'd done, because I literally had no other frame of reference. I had nothing else to look into. So what I did, instead of focusing on what it is that I felt I was being called to do, I shifted my focus on who I was being called to be. And that meant that I paid attention, and I put all of my time and my energy into my own personal development, into my personal healing and growth, and improving my well-being and health. And what that does is, I look at this process now, because, you know, those of us who are looking for a calling, we're not just looking for another job or just another way of making money in a business. We are looking for that expression of our true gifts and talents, and finding that unique way for us to contribute to changing the world. And that comes from a very deep place within us. And it's my belief that it is, that is the journey of our soul. So when we start to step onto our true path, to really, want to know what it is that our purpose is, that we are being called to grow in ways that we potentially haven't grown and developed up until this point. And that's the whole process. So when you spend the amount of time on who it is that you're being called to be, you suddenly start growing into the woman that you need to be to fulfill your vision and your calling. And from that place of greater well-being, greater confidence, the clarity emerges about what it is that you are meant to do. Now, to help with this, I have created over the years, I really looked at, well, what did that mean? Like, who am I meant to be? Like, who am I being called to be? And I started looking at all of these different areas of my health and my well-being, and I started making changes to them. So for me, at that particular turning point in my life, it meant giving up binge drinking, drugs, smoking, coffee. I started looking at how to improve my diet. I took myself on a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat, where you don't talk for 10 days and you meditate for about 14 hours a day. And what that did for me was that really solidified a regular meditation practice that I committed to. And I spent this time in transition really thinking about who is it that I wanted to be in the world? What were the qualities? How did I want to lead by example and be a role model for the kind of change that I wanted? Because what was so clear to me was that I had been out there trying to change the world, but was still stressed, heavily addicted. I still kept relapsing with my eating disorder. I was still reacting to things. I wasn't being, completely loving and kind and compassionate to myself and to others. So I really worked on changing those aspects of myself. And by doing that, by putting all of that energy and that focus, hi Emma, nice of you to join us. Anybody who is looking for that pathway to what it is that they're meant to do, focusing in on actually who you're being called to be and putting in your focus and your energy and your time into improving your well-being, into improving your health, into really developing new thoughts and new habits that help you become your best self. From that place, you can just feel it, like when you know what it feels like when you start rocking out these new ways of being in the world that make you feel good. You feel more empowered. Hi Paulette, lovely to have you this morning. Thanks for joining. um, when we start to really feel like we are in integrity with the way in which we are living, and we're becoming the woman that we in our heart know is possible, from that place we have greater access to the clarity and the inner wisdom that's pointing us on our journey to what we are meant to do. So to support you in knowing, okay, well, where do I start with this journey? Okay, I don't know what I'm meant to be doing. And so I'm going to focus in on, okay, who am I being called to be in the world, and what are the habits and the new thoughts that I want to start embedding and improving into my life. What I've done is, over the years, I have looked at all of the different dimensions of my well-being that have helped me become the woman that I really always knew was possible in my heart. And yes, I'm still a work in progress, but really dedicating the time to these aspects of my well-being have certainly helped me become more empowered, to become clearer, to have the energy, to have the presence that I need to be able to do the work that I'm doing in the world. So if you can access this, I've done this assessment, this well-being rituals assessment, to help you identify areas in your own life of well-being that could that could be strengthened. So this assessment you can download from my website if you go to soulstrategies.com.au/class2, and that's a number 2. And I'll make sure that the link is in the notes after this live recording. But if you head down to soulstrategies.com.au/class2, you can download this assessment, which goes through these 12 aspects of well-being in my own life where I started focusing. So some of the things are, you're wise women. We all know, what it is that we need to be doing. Things around nutrition, exercise, mindfulness, and really, like at that time of transition for me, committing to my spirituality, spending time in nature, being able to be fully connected into that power that is greater than myself, really served me. But so if you go down, I've got that assessment, I've got all of those different aspects, that I worked on personally to help you in your own journey, really step into the woman that you're being called to be. And when you focus your time and your energy and your commitment into improving those habits and those thoughts, and they are things you can do immediately. Just park the issue aside for the moment that you don't know what it is that you're meant to be doing. And I know that that can be an incredibly frustrating place because you so deeply, I know it, I remember it myself, this like yearning, I want to know what my purpose is, and thinking if I just think about it enough, I'm going to come up with the answer, but it didn't work. And so having this shift in focus, you know, to the ritual. Yeah, like you were saying, Paulette, rituals are a great way to embed those habits. Yes, I love the word rituals because rituals to me just sound so much more, I don't know, sacred and potent. And when I ritualize these aspects that I know are good for me, then, you know, for me, it's become part of my spiritual practice. Getting up, meditating, eating breakfast, journaling, you know, these things that I know are good for me and set me up right for the day, I've ritualized, and they become a joy rather than a burden. So really looking at your own life right now of where you can embed new rituals, new routines, you know, because you are being called to let go of things that haven't been working for you. That's the whole point of answering this calling of your soul towards your divine purpose, to to fulfill the mission that only you have. In that process, you are being called to grow into this amazingly beautiful, perfect woman that you already are in your heart. And it's just letting go of all the things and the thoughts and the behaviors that have kept you from knowing exactly that empowered divine being inside. So if you want to get that assessment to help support you through this process, then head to soulstrategies.com.au/class 2, and just choose one action this week. What's one action that you can take to help you develop a new habit or a new thought that really helps you step into your best self? And tune in to next week's class, or find the recording, you know, if you're listening to this recording after the fact, where I will go into a particular exercise that I love that really helped me tap into my best self. So and as always, let me know how you go. Come and comment, come and send me messages. I want to know how this is working for you as you journey towards living this purpose and this calling that only you can do, because you have a special gift to share with the world. And I know that you being here and listening to this, that you are absolutely going to find your way and contribute, and together we're going to change the world. So Emma and Paulette, thank you so much for joining me on the call today. It was so lovely to have you here, and have a beautiful day. Blessings.